And what I'm going to do to celebrate my 3,000 subscribers is I'm going to have a little giveaway. I'm going to start to do a challenge for you. This is going to be a hard challenge, but you're going to enjoy it, hopefully. What is going on? Where am I? Nick to the hobby room. Nick to the hobby room. Come in, hobby room. Hold on a minute. If I'm here, then who's back at the hobby room? Nicholas speaking, and welcome to this video. Nicholas speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, I've been having a look through some of Nick's videos, and I can see that he's done a load of videos telling you, showing you how to win with Necrons, how to win with Eldar. And although that's very good, I think you need something more. I think you need to find out how to beat Necrons, how to beat Eldar. And I've had a look through Nick's mailbox, and he's got quite a number of emails there saying, you know, how do I deal with wraiths? How do I deal with wave serpents? You know, that type of thing. And give Nick his due, he has replied to those emails. But he hasn't made any videos about them, and that is what this little series is about. So I'm going to start off with how to beat wraiths, and then I'm going to continue and do a few more videos for you as well. So this is going to be another little mini series. Hopefully you enjoy them, and I shall get straight on to the first one, how to beat wraiths. Right, let's have a look at the Necron Wraiths. Now this is the unit that Nick gets emailed the most about, how to deal with them. This is how you're going to see them. You're going to see them in generally groups of 6. You may see little groups of 3, and you may even see this Destroyer Lord with them as well, which we'll come to in a bit. There's basically 3 ways to deal with wraiths. One is to go all out and try and destroy them early in the game. The second one is to ignore them, and the third one is to basically distract them. In other words, make them do what you want to do. So there's 3 ways of doing it. We're going to look at the first way first, which is to go all out and destroy them. And this obviously has to be done by shooting. Now the Necron Wraiths are so good because they have 2 wounds, which basically means that these 6 minis are 12 minis. And then you've got a 3+ in vulnerable saves. It doesn't matter what gun that you shoot, you are going to be getting a 3+ save, or your opponent's going to be getting 3+ save. So very tough cookie. Now putting obviously psychic powers aside, you know, where you can obviously manipulate things like that. They do have a slight weakness, and that is that they are only toughness 4. That means if you can get a wound through that is strength 8, then the toughness 4 means, you know, that you're going to double their toughness, and a whole model is going to be taken off. So that is something obviously to bear in mind. Now, what the Necron player is going to be doing, he's going to be trying to basically distract you as much as possible with his Wraith units. And if you can take it out early in the game, that's really, really useful. Now, the way that your Necron opponent is going to be equipping these is more likely with whip coils. They may have guns, particle casters, very unlikely. More likely they're going to have whip coils, which basically a whip coil, if you're in base contact with it in the assault, is going to bring you down initiative. Now these guys initiative 2, but they'll make you, you know, lower than that so that you strike last. Very, very useful. These guys are strength 6, they're rending, really nasty. So yes, if you can shoot them to death, that is the way to do it. Now what I suggest you do is have a look at the unit, or ask your opponent and find out how many whip coils he has in the unit. Because to try and save points, what a Necron player will do, if there's say 6 there, they may have 4 whip coils and maybe 2 without. And the idea is being that they would put the whip coils at the front, sorry, the non-whip coiled ones at the front, so that if anything dies, the non-whip coil ones die first. A great tactic, really good tactic. So when you're shooting the unit, if you know that those two guys at the front have no whip coils, then it might be time to try and start moving your units maybe to the side so that you can try and target the ones at the back. Try and get rid of those whip coils, because Wraiths at initiative 2, when you're striking before them, it's a different story. I mean, it's still tough nut to get through, but obviously being able to attack first definitely does give you a big advantage. So yeah, try and target the whip coils if you can, whether it means you know, deep striking in, or just moving your units, getting a good field of view with your tank, you know, that type of thing. So first of all, you want to hit them with your strength 8 guns. Doesn't matter on the AP, you don't have to worry about that because they've got invulnerable saves. But if you can hit them with strength 8 and double their toughness, and then they get a 1 or a 2 for their save, that's a whole mini gun, which is brilliant. And then basically you need to get them to throw as many saves as possible. So you want to hit them with as many dice as you can. So it's basically a torrent of fire. The more dice your opponent has to throw, the more chance of them throwing 1s and 2s and then basically getting that unit down. Now the other tactic which you'll find a Necron player will do is they will have a Destroyer Lord. Now sometimes you'll see a smaller unit of Wraiths, maybe 3 with a Destroyer Lord, but most people will have a big unit like that. Now all of a sudden that's pretty awesome Wraith unit becomes potentially one of the best units in 40k with that Destroyer Lord there, because the Destroyer Lord has preferred enemy. So now all of a sudden those Wraiths are going to be re-rolling those 1s to hit and wound in close combat. Not only that, the Destroyer Lord is going to have a weave, and that gives him a 2+ save. And it's more than likely that your Necron opponent is going to have that Lord at the front, so that you know, he gets a 2+ save, and then if he gets a dodgy wound coming through, where maybe he's got to use an invulnerable save, if he's got one, he'll be doing lookout surge onto the Wraiths. So once again, if you have the Destroyer Lord, try and move your men so that the closest model is not the Destroyer Lord. Try and move so that the closest model is the Wraiths, ideally the Wraiths with the whip coils. Now if you do have obviously high strength AP guns or low AP guns, then try and target the Lord, because that's a different story, because the Lord, even with his phase shifter, you know, he's got to take an invulnerable save, and the chances are that your Necron Lord will probably be doing a lot of looking out sirs, which means you're going for the Wraiths anyway. The Wraiths is what you need to destroy. They're the really, really nasty ones. The Destroyer Lord, of course, is nasty, and is more than likely he's going to have a Warsight. So watch out for this unit, because what will happen, what the Necron player will be looking to do, is when he gets into you, when he gets into your army, he will be splitting off this Necron Warsight, and he will be going after little tanks. You know, whilst these go off, and these go for infantry. These will go off, and they'll be popping tanks and stuff with that Warsight. So watch out for that little tactic coming from the Necron player. Now the other ways then potentially to get around these is to ignore them. Probably not the best tactic, to be fair. I mean, yeah, okay, you could potentially ignore, say, a monolith, if you know, if there was a monolith there. But Necron Wraith units, I really wouldn't ignore it, to be fair. It's just going to eat through your army if you do that. And of course they're scoring now, they're even better. Right, so the third option is to manipulate the unit. And that's going to take some resources, but if you can basically throw units to this unit, to your benefit, in other words, so that you can control where they move. And okay, it's going to be a little bit more sacrificial in most cases, but if you can control where this unit moves so that they assault a particular unit, then when that unit's wiped out, you've got a good round of shooting on them to try and get rid of them. controlling where the movement is so that your vital units are protected, your vital units can go out and destroy what they need to destroy, almost countering what they're doing basically. But ultimately you want to try and destroy these guys, and the way to do that really is going to be high strength, strength 8 guns or more, as many as you can put into these guys, and hope to God that your opponent rolls 1s and 2s. Or torrent of fire as many bullets as humanly possible into this unit will take them down. Now, I've experienced Necron players putting a huge unit of Wraiths in their deployment zone, and then turn 1 the whole unit just gets wiped out. You know, it does happen. It's not an unbeatable unit. It's effectively 12 minis with a 3+ save. So 1s and 2s come up on the dice quite often, and it isn't an impossible task, but you will need some firepower to do it. So that would be my recommendation. Move into a position where you can target the whip coils first, so if you don't kill them all, when they get into assault, A, they're weak, and B, you'll be striking first. And then basically just shoot every single gun that you can into them. Now obviously that does mean you are going to be ignoring maybe some of the other units, but ultimately the other units, although they're going to have a lot of firepower, most of the Necron firepower is short range. I say short range, it's generally 24 inches. So you've got a bit of distance between you before you have to worry about the firepower of the rest of the army. So that does give you a little bit of time at the beginning of the game to put everything into the Wraiths. Okay, so hopefully that was useful. Hopefully I didn't babble on too much. Thanks for watching, and look out for the next How to Beat video.